Hello? Oh, hi, darling.
Half a world away, another day. So let's go play on the moon. It's a starry place. We embrace the space while we're miles away on the moon.
Hello, everyone, and welcome back to another episode of On the Other Line. I am your host, Kelly Keegs. Today, we're getting into the nitty-gritty. We are talking about debt and money. Uncomfortable topics, uncomfortable things to talk about. Nobody wants to talk about it. We got to talk about it. There's too much going on with money in our lives for us to ignore it. So that's what we are talking about today. Currently, again, we are pre-recorded because I am still on a bus. I'm somewhere in the country right now. I think Boston at this point. I'll be in Boston, maybe making my way home with some money in my pocket and a shore house, or just my tail between my legs, feeling like shit. So either way, we're here now, and I'm happy to be here with you all. Let's set the mood a little bit. Gia, what's going on with you?
I'm good.
You're doing good?
Yes.
Still doing good.
Still doing good. Still in the dark room.
Still in the dark room.
I've been here for a week.
Still doing good. Are you gonna address my outfit change? Are you impressed that I thought that far ahead?
That is very, very smart. I should have thought of that. I should have taken off my sweatshirt.
No, please. That's what people just be like, oh, look at her. She loves that sweatshirt.
I'm just in the same sweatshirt, in the same position. Guys, I've been sitting here all week patiently waiting for this episode.
Yeah, you couldn't wait. You could not wait to produce another episode of On the Other Line.
And it's still someone's birthday.
And it's still we're still going happy birthday. Whoever's birthday it was, still going happy birthday. So we're happy about that. Happy to have you here, Gia. Appreciate it. We're talking about money today. Like I said, it's an uncomfortable topic. A lot of people don't want to talk about it. I hate talking about money. Makes me super uncomfortable. But I just feel like there's so much going on. There's a lot of trouble happening in the world with money. Like I just feel like every day I hear something crazy. I'm always hearing about, especially rent, apartments, living situations, traveling, plane tickets are going crazy right now. Like there's all kinds of factors that just stop you from living your life because they have to do with money. So I wrote down a few of the things. I was doing some Googling and I was writing down what I thought were some of the things you spend the most amount of money on. And the top thing that people spend money on, no surprise, is food. Food. People just trying to survive. People just trying to eat, trying to, feed their kids, trying to feed their families, whatever it is they need to do. Food is always number one. And I think that a lot to do with that probably is going out to eat. So we'll get into that a little bit later because these right now are the things that you need to spend money on. Absolutely, no question. The next thing I would say is cable, internet, and cell phones. Those are unexpected expenses, even though they're obviously very expected, like you should know when they're coming. But I don't know why my cable bill sneaks up on me every month. Like I just feel like it's never on the same day. Like they never are charging the account on the same day. Like for a while it was like on the 20th. Some days it was on the 3rd. Some days it's just at whatever time. I don't know what spectrum kind of gambit they're running over there, but it's pissing me off. I'll tell you that right now. And cell phones, obviously. I know this is insane, but when I am smoking a little weed and I'm thinking about life and thinking about the things that we have to pay for and, just like trying to survive, when I think about the internet and cell phones, I always think like, why do we have to pay for that? Like, I just feel like the air is cell phones are in the air. The internet is in the air. Like, I feel like, isn't there a way to get that without having to pay for it? Like I wish I was like a hacker or something better than that because I feel like there's a way to just pull it out of the air. Gia, what do you think about that? Like think about how like Wi-Fi is in the air. Does that ever psych you out?
It just makes no sense to me.
It doesn't.
Like where does it come from?
Right.
I'll never understand. It is crazy that you have to pay for it. Mm-hmm. Like I don't know if I just can't even it blows my mind.
It blows
Clearly,
my mind
I can't
too.
even find the words.
No, truly, it blows my mind, and I understand having to pay for like cable, TV, streaming services. Like I understand having to have like a Netflix account or pay to access all the regular cable channels. I totally get that. But the Wi-Fi part and the cell phone service part, I'm like, how do you guys get away with this? Like, how is that something that we all need to be paying for? Like, it's almost like water, I guess, at this point. Like you cannot live without some sort of method to communicate, whether it's on the internet or on the phone. I just feel like I don't know. Like, I guess water's not free either. You got to pay for water, which is also insane. There's just so many things that we have to pay for that you don't think about, that you just have to live with, and that are just insane. You know, I don't know. I keep saying insane because that's the only word I can think of to describe like having to spend money on these things. It sucks. Third on the list is definitely rent or mortgage, whatever your situation is. I can't imagine having to pay a mortgage. I think a mortgage is tough, but I guess if you buy a house and you're late on the mortgage, it's like, you know, you're locked in for 30 years or something like that. They're going to come find you. Like, they'll come get it from you eventually. So maybe you have a little more leeway if you're paying for something that you already own and you've put a down payment on or something. But when it comes to rent, once your landlord comes knocking, you better have that money. And I think that it's sometimes hard to make rent. Like I'm terrible managing my money. I am on record saying this all the time. Bad manager of my money. Not because I'm spending frivolously, because I'm not. If I was, you guys would see me looking way more fly than I do now. But I think that not anticipating like going out with friends or this random cable charge that comes up out of nowhere, whatever. Sometimes you're like under or over, especially if you're living paycheck to paycheck, which I feel like a lot of people in New York City especially have to do. And rent sneaks up on you, and it just, you feel like, damn, do I have $2,000 in my bank account right now? Do I have $4,000 in my bank account right now? I have recently been trying to look at new apartments. I don't want to move. I really like my apartment the way that it is. This is something that I was looking at. So I obviously cannot live here. This is the second most expensive building to live in New York City right now. The first one being 432 Park, but everybody hates that building, which is crazy because I actually like it. I think it's cool. But this one is the new one. Scroll down a little bit, Gia. This is like one of the most.
It doesn't let me scroll.
Oh, does it? Click it. See what happens if you click. Yeah, there we go. Click on, look at this fucking place. It's a huge building that's overlooks the park. Look at this fucking shit. Imagine that's your house.
I would die.
Imagine that's your house with the view like of the park right there. Are you fucking kidding me? Let's click on availability. See what's going on here. Oh. Yeah.
Nice.
$5.2 million, and look, it's a 1-bedroom, 2-bathroom place. Look at that. Ooh, there's a study.
Yeah.
This is unbelievable to me.
That bedroom's huge.
The bedroom's enormous, and all those, if you could see on the bottom, all of those are windows. So you would have, like, in your bedroom, you have views outside. In your living room, you have views everywhere.
Is this a 1-bedroom?
Yes, it's a one. Is that 4.7 or 5.2 million?
This is the 4.
That's the 4.
Let's look at the 5.
Unbelievable. Let's see what's going on here.
This is still 1-bedroom.
Yeah, they're both 1 bedrooms. Does this one at least have like a terrace or something? There's not even a terrace.
Yeah, I don't know what the difference
I don't think there are any
is.
terraces on this building, but it's insane. Like I see, there's the nice kitchen, open kitchen plan. We've got the living dining room, whole thing, a lot of windows, same thing, a lot of space. But in reality, like this isn't that much space. Like it's 1,400, about 1,500 square feet. I feel like people in Middle America right now are like laughing their dicks off at this. Like this is so nuts to me. And so yeah, so that's like the pinnacle. That's what you want to be living in. You want to be living in that kind of house, just like bragging about where you live. And I think that there are so few people who can actually afford those places. Like you have to be like a real estate mogul or a celebrity to live in one of those places. And so I am obviously neither of those things. And my building recently got bought. I have been living in my building for like 3 years. I love my building. It's a walk up, which kind of sucks. It also doesn't have like a lot of amenities. It does not have a washer dryer anywhere, not even in the building. So I always have to get my shit sent out, which sucks. I don't have a doorman. I also don't have like a digital call up system. I have to be there. Like I can't just say somebody is coming with a package and they want to leave it in my foyer or whatever, I have to be there to buzz them in. Otherwise I'm screwed. You know what I mean? And I feel like a lot of buildings now have that like call in thing where you can just like accept it from your phone. So I don't have anything like that. All in all, anybody else moving into that apartment would think it was shitty and think that they wouldn't want to live there. But I've lived there 3 years and I've made it my own. I painted it a bunch of different colors. Like I love it so much. I don't want to leave. But my landlord, when I went to go pay rent like 2 months ago, I was like just emailing him like, hey, we're all set for tomorrow. Take out my rent on my card, And he replied and was just like, building was sold, here's the info, and sent me the new building shit. So now I get to pay my rent online, which is actually so clutch because if I get my little hands on a credit card, I can start doing it that way like a lot of people do. and I would love that. But I'm worried because my rent hasn't been raised the entire time I've lived there. I'm worried that they're gonna, once my lease is up in like 6 months, they're gonna try to kick me out. So,
everyone's rent has been getting raised.
Exactly. And I got so fucking lucky. Like during COVID, my landlord was amazing. Like I can't say nicer things about my landlord. He was unbelievable. I have had shitty fucking landlords in New York before this, and I can't believe how nice this guy is. Like how great he's been. But the market right now is unbelievable. You can't even, there's not even apartments to have. Like you can't even move in anywhere. There's nowhere to go. It's so nuts, and it makes me pissed because everybody was just so quick to run out of New York when everything was happening, just ditch their places. They lowered everybody's rent, trying to get everybody in here, and then once everybody's here and locked in for a couple of years, they raise it on you, and you can either uproot your life and move again to I don't know what apartment because there aren't any available, or you suck it up and you pay the extra money and you just, are eating cans of beans every night for dinner. Like, what the fuck? So it's insane. I don't really know what to do. Gia, you know what I'm going to do, or what I'm in the process of doing right now? And this is maybe like, I can't tell if this is douchey or not. It's definitely douchey a little bit, but I feel like I don't usually take advantage of like my influencer status, right? Like I never ask for free shit, even though I love free shit. I want it on record. I love free shit. Send me free shit, whatever it is, send it to me. On The Bachelor, you know how there are people in buildings in New York where they just like fill it up with Bachelor people. Like they just are like, hey, live in this building, post about this building.
Yes.
And I don't know what kind of like discounts they're getting, or if they're getting some like this for free if you post about it a certain times a month, like whatever. I'm gonna start emailing companies, like management companies, being like, do you have any properties where we can do like a online exchange, like me posting about your shit and maybe give me like 50% off rent, because that's the only way that I'm going to find another one bedroom in New York City for less than, $2,000. Like
that's actually really smart.
Right? So
or
I'm
even
trying
just
to do
like
it.
25 to like 30%. Like
That's what I'm saying. Like I don't need all of that. Like I could probably go up to like, I don't know. I forget what no, I don't forget what I pay right now. I feel like I don't want to say how much rent I pay. Is that weird to say that? But
yeah,
it's a little
not.
tacky, but it's it's not a lot. I don't pay a ton of rent. I pay more than some of my friends. I definitely pay more than my friends in other cities, but I don't pay so much that it's unheard of. Like it's pretty reasonable what I pay, especially for what I have. And I can probably just keep paying that same amount. But if I go to a new building and they give me a percentage off, I can get a nicer place and they can like let me in. And I don't really give a fuck. If I'm in a luxury building with a doorman and it's like all this shit and it's pretty safe, I don't care about posting like the building that I live in. You don't know my apartment. You don't know my life. So I feel like Gia, I'm gonna do it. I feel
you should do it.
I
I'm
really
a supporter.
Thank you. I appreciate that. So I'm going to start, if you guys know anybody who's managing building companies who are looking people to pimp out their apartments, I am here and I'm willing to do it. I'll make it super cute, I promise, and I'll post about it all the time. So keep that on record. 157, if you're looking for a bitch to come into one of those bedrooms with all those views, I'm here. Let's see. Also, cars and transit. So in New York, obviously, I don't have a car myself. I don't think I have any close friends with a car. Maybe one friend maybe parks it like in Jersey. But it's so fucking expensive to park your car in the city. It's like not worth having one here. And I always forget how expensive it is to have a car outside of here. It's a whole nother payment. Like it's a whole nother bill, especially if your car is nice. Like forget it. You could pay $500, $600 a month for your car if you have a nice one. And gas alone. People make fun of me all the time, Gia. Do you marvel at gas prices when they're going up? Like, do you notice gas prices in other places?
I'm not gonna lie, no. I don't give a shit about
Nobody does. People have been making fun of me so much for this lately. Like I've been like, every time I'll pass by a gas station or I'm like, visiting my parents in New Jersey or something, I'll notice the prices and I'm like, holy shit, they're so high right now. Like that's insane.
Yeah, that's like the only time where I'm like, oh my God, the gas prices are so high because I don't have a car.
Right.
And are there gas stations in New York? Like, where did the taxis
There are.
get
They're
filled?
all along. They're in like the weird spots. They're close to the highways.
Okay.
They're not really in the middle. Like I know there's one gas station right in the middle of like the West Village, and I also know there's a bunch that are like just on on 10th Avenue. I think has a bunch, and same with the East Side. There's just like random gas stations everywhere.
Yeah.
But if you're paying attention, gas is like over $4 right now. Like that's fucking nuts.
It's insane. My dad sent a picture of them filling up the car in Florida, and it was like $95 to fill it up.
Unbelievable.
And I was like, that sucks for you.
I mean, that's fucking crazy. I think I pay attention to it a lot because when I was in high school, the gas prices were the same. Like there was I don't know what was going on. Something was happening probably. I don't know what was happening, but the gas prices were about $4 a gallon, something like that. And I had just gotten my license and I was driving back and forth to the beach like once a week. Like I just was always trying to get to the beach, always trying to go to my grandparents' house. They lived down there, always trying to like just drive around. I love driving. So I paid attention to the gas prices because I was always bankrupting myself on gas, like just constantly. And so I think now maybe I just like am always thinking about that. And it's just something that I can't stop thinking about. But then even if you don't have a car, transit in all these places, like if you get a monthly pass for the train or a monthly subway card, yes, it's worth it if you're traveling like, back and forth to work every day on this transit situation. Or if you just like travel around the city a lot, totally worth it. But it's still a pretty big expense. So I don't know. But let's hit a break really quickly and then we'll get back into the things you don't have to spend your money on. Welcome back to On the Other Line. I am your host, Kelly Keegs, as always. And unfortunately, we're not taking live calls again this week. Like I said, pre-recorded. I'm on my deathbed currently, coming back from an RV trip. So we put out the number present day. Maybe we'll get a couple calls, maybe we won't. But let us get into first the top 5 things that you spend your money on for no reason. Now, this is the thing that I Googled. I think that I have maybe a screenshot, Gia. I forget if I took it from Google. I think it's like the same list. But I thought it was kind of funny. Is it in there or no? It doesn't matter if it is or not.
No, I don't.
It's fine. Don't worry about it.
Okay.
Okay. So the first thing, this is what I think that people are spending money on. They don't need to be spending money on. A little bit of Google, a little bit of myself. So the first thing, and it kind of goes back into the food we were talking about earlier, is just going out with your friends. Going out with your friends to eat and drink. Holy shit, is it expensive? I can't remember the last time I was at a dinner with my friends that I didn't spend at least $100. And it makes sense when you think about it, based on the amount of food you get. Everybody gets an entree. Everybody gets at least 2 drinks and, apps for the table and maybe a dessert to share. Like, I feel like that's always the situation. And if the group is bigger, I don't know about you, Gia, but sometimes I start to panic when it's like a huge group because some people loosey-goosey with their group ordering, and I think it's fucking crazy. I'm always very cognizant about what I'm ordering in a group.
I always silently panic when I'm in like a group bigger than like 7 to 8 people because
Totally
one,
agree.
I'm always like, all right, who is going to be the one that picks up the bill?
Right. Always,
because usually
right.
when it's like a group over 6, like they're not going to split it. And then 2, there's always that, and then if you like, let's all split it 8 ways so it makes it easier, whatever. There's always that one person that's like, well, I didn't get a 3rd beer and
100%.
I only got 1 appetizer and a salad, so like I'm not gonna split it. And you're like, God damn it. Like,
it's right. That's so insane. If you're going out to a huge dinner like that, you have to anticipate spending a lot of money. Like that is the time where you're going to be hit with a big bill. And if you aren't comfortable with that big bill, you can't go. Like, I know it sucks to like think that way, but you cannot be the person that's like, I only had 1 beer and 1 thing. Maybe if you're in a group of like your very close friends and you really do maybe you show up late and you just have a quick drink and maybe some bites of stuff, they like won't include you on the final total and you just like Venmo everybody $5 or whatever if you're really like trying not to be involved. But even that person is annoying. Like you just can't do that. Like you're splitting it and you're going to split it.
Yeah.
But in saying that is also saying that when you're in a group like that, don't be an asshole. Don't order the lobster. Don't order the giant fucking like New York strip. Like don't do those things unless you're like at a steakhouse where the only thing you're ordering is that kind of stuff. But it's like if you start ordering all these crazy things, if you start ordering 4 $15 cocktails, it's like, what are you doing right now? Like you don't need 4 cocktails at dinner. Like you can maybe have 2 drinks and like a glass, maybe split a bottle of wine for the table or something like that. Like it's just, you have to be cognizant of other people and be just like a little respectful. Not everybody's trying to throw around $200 every time they go out to dinner to have 4 bites of their meal. You know what I mean? It's a little nuts. So going out with friends is definitely a big thing. Also too, sometimes you're going out with your friends, not even just to dinner. Sometimes you're going to an event. You got to buy tickets for it. You got to, get alcohol in advance. You got to do this. You got to do that.
Yeah, even just like getting a table in New York
oh my God.
Literally insane. I went to this bar called the DL. Have you ever heard of it?
Yeah.
Oh.
Have I heard of the DL? Bitch.
You used to run the DL?
I have spent so much of my life at the DL. It makes me sick. Like I
It's
don't
actually-
even want to like tell you how much time I spent there. Like it's
I
too
always see
much.
people I know there, but it's actually such a fun bar.
It's so fun. Well,
Yeah.
it's huge. It's
Yeah.
so big,
Yeah.
and you can go and it's got cool decor, and it's a fun it's like half lounge, half dance, like fun spot to go with your friends. Have you ever? I've gone. Probably the most fun I've had going there was on Halloween. They had like a big Halloween party, and we all went.
You know what? I almost did go there for Halloween, but
It was
I didn't.
so fun, and it
Yeah.
was before. I'm sure now if they were to have a Halloween party, they'd probably have to do like a ticketed thing because it's really popular. Like,
It's so popular
It's
now.
one of it's one of those places that's just like always going to be popular, and it was super popular when I was like out going to the DL. But if you're like over 25, I probably wouldn't want like go there anymore.
Yeah.
Like it's just one of those kind of places where it's like young bucks just loving it, living it up. But Halloween was such a good fucking time. But wait, what was I saying? Why did you bring that up? Tell the rest of the story.
I brought it up because we decided to go there after brunch, and a bunch of me and my friends, and we were like, oh, maybe let's just get a table because the line was really long, and if you get a table, you can like kind of cut the line and get in. So they kind of get you because they say the table is this price. I think it was like only like $200, $150, whatever. But it's a 2-bottle minimum.
Yep.
And one bottle of Casamigos, like I think it was a bigger size bottle.
Yeah.
It was like $400.
That's how they fucking get you with those tables.
It
like
was absolutely absurd.
How dare the DL be charging $400 for a bottle of anything?
It's so
I don't care
rude.
what it
Like
is. How dare
Casamigos,
they?
you can get that in the store for $60.
It's unbelievable, the
It
nerve.
truly is.
The nerve that all these places that have tables, and I think at this point in my life, like if we're going out to the club and it's like, all right, we're getting a table, I probably won't go to the club if we don't have a table, but I am more likely to say no because like a table is involved. Like I think that like the table aspect of it is a whole nother hurdle, and it is really nice to have that space to like do whatever, but the drinks are always shitty. Like it doesn't matter how good the vodka is, the tequila, like whatever it is out of the bottle that you buy, they only give you they give you some soda, they like clear soda to mix with it, they give you cranberry juice, and they usually give you orange juice. That's like always what they end up throwing at you at a table, and so you make do with what you have and it's fine. But if you have a big table and you have like friends coming in, going in and out, whatever, those bottles go fucking fast. Like they go so quick, and it's really hard to kind of like, you know, space it out over some time and maybe not spend $1 million. But if you're going out somewhere and you have a table, you're spending $200 something just on that table. It's ridiculous. But on this list also, we could just jump right into it, alcohol and tobacco. That's something that everybody is buying, maybe not everybody, but a lot of people are buying, and you just spend an unbelievable amount of money on it.
I would love to know, well, actually, no, I would not love to know how much I have spent on just like Juul or
No, it makes me
like,
wanna die.
Like vapes.
No, it makes me want to die.
Yeah.
I am constantly on and off the Juul. Like I am.
Yeah, same. I'm constantly
currently
on and off.
but like on and off depending on my situation. If I'm stressed out, like what do I have going on? And it's so ridiculous, especially now Juul pods. The ones that I like, I have a bodega near me. I will literally never reveal the location because I don't want anybody like coming in on my stash. But they still somehow get mint Juul pods, and they're like outlawed now. You can't get those. Like the only ones you can buy
after
in
the
stores.
show, you
I'll tell
have
you,
to
Gia.
tell me
I'll
where
tell you.
that
I'll tell you
is.
because you'll you'll yes, I will tell you, but I will tell nobody else because these people, I don't know how they get it, but they charge $40. It's $40 for a pack of Juul pods, and I think that that's like fucking insane, obviously. But when you think about it, it's like, all right, it's like $10 a pod. What's a pack of cigarettes? Like $16? That's crazy. Like I would never have that, and it'll last me like a little while. You justify it in your head, and you sound like a fucking lunatic, and it's just it's a money suck. The Juul stuff, the vape stuff. And even if you buy those like little vapes that are disposable, same thing. It's like, they're like $40 too. I feel like you can't get cheap vapes anymore.
No.
Like that's just not a thing.
Like a disposable vape right now is probably like 15, like 12 to 15.
Yeah, not bad. How long would it last you?
For me, they last a while because like
Yeah.
I used to be such a chronic jeweler,
Yeah,
but
same.
I've cut it down to like when I go out, which
Yeah.
is nice. So
Yeah.
they last me a pretty long time, but like my friends, they have to get them like once like a night.
Yeah, that's
know?
crazy. It's just
wild.
It's so expensive. And then same thing about that with alcohol. Alcohol is something that I don't know if I could ever figure out how much money I've spent on alcohol, if you're including like buying it for friends, for, you know, you go to somebody's house, you bring a bottle of wine, you go out to the bar, you get a couple of drinks, you go out to dinner, like I said, you order, you know, a bottle of wine, you order cocktails, you do whatever. There's alcohol at every turn, and if it's around, I'm getting it. If I'm around friends in a social situation, I love a drink. I love some bubbles. I love all that shit. So that's like a non-negotiable for me. I'm always spending money on alcohol no matter what. And it's funny to see the difference in pricing with alcohol depending on the state you're in and just depending on the area that you're in. Like New York City, I know that I buy Freixenet champagne. It's in that matte black bottle. It's like my favorite bubbles like to get, and it's usually pretty cheap. Max I've ever paid for it's like $15, but it doesn't really give you a hangover. It tastes good. It's non-threatening. It doesn't taste anything. I think the expensive champagnes like Veuve and those ones taste like shit. Like they kind of taste like sour milk, and I can't ever tell if that's me like being trash or not. But I think that I've had enough really expensive champagne that's delicious, and Prosecco too, that's really delicious and nice, that wouldn't have cost that much and taste a lot better. So I just can't quite figure out like why Veuve like has the nerve to charge for so much.
Yeah,
They're insane.
I'm not a big fan of Veuve.
Do you agree? And that has like that weird sour taste. Like I don't know what it is.
It tastes like cheese. I mean, I feel like I like champagne that kind of tastes like cheese.
Yeah.
But to me, I get that like sour milk taste that you're talking about.
That's exactly
it tastes like bad cheese.
Bad cheese, especially the smell.
Yeah.
The smell specifically is like, ugh. It makes
Have you ever had Ferrari?
Ferrari is pretty good.
Yeah, that's my favorite, I think.
Ferrari is pretty good. Well, what I was saying about the big price difference is La Marca Prosecco, the like light blue bottle. It's like, I wouldn't say it's cheap, but it's not expensive, definitely. But it's the next level up, I would say, to the one I usually get, the Frex. And I will get that if the Frex is out. And depending on what liquor store I'm at in New York City, it is all different prices. I've paid $25 for it. I've paid $20, I've paid $15, I've paid $12. And I'm like, what are these people like honestly doing with this? Like how are they able to mark this up so much? And so it's hard to kind of put that in its own category. But I mean, I don't even know. Just the varying prices are insane. All I know is that the alcohol industry has always got my money because I'm always looking for bubbles. I'm always looking to celebrate. So let's hit a break and then we'll continue talking about money. And welcome back to On the Other Line. I'm your host, Kelly Keegs. Today we're talking about debt and money. Uncomfortable conversations. I feel like, people get really weird about money. So we're going to keep going, talking about it. I think that we have left off on, we're still talking about what we're spending for no reason. And we just were talking about alcohol and tobacco. I still feel the same. Yeah, I feel the same about alcohol. That's pretty much all wrapped up. The next thing, hobbies, just hobbies in general. And this is something that I took from Google, which I feel is all encompassing when it comes to whether you're somebody who goes to concerts all the time, you're somebody who goes to events, things you spend tickets on and stuff like that. I also think that people have really expensive hobbies. I think maybe the most expensive hobby I've ever heard of is like owning a boat. I feel like that's a hobby, right? Like, would you say owning a boat is kind of like a hobby?
Yes, owning a boat is like, so once you own a boat, it's like your whole life, I feel like.
Your whole life. It's
my
like all you
boyfriend's
do.
dad loves boats.
Yeah, there you go. So it's like all you do, it's all you talk about, it's all you want to get, just bring it up in conversation anytime you can. But I do understand that because owning a boat is like the most expensive shit you can do. Like it's just, people always say it's like you put a pile of money on the ground and set it on fire and it's the same as owning a boat. Like that's just how that goes. But people have expensive hobbies where like they'll buy a ton of something. Like sometimes people collect things and they just, like stuff off eBay. And I watched something recently. It's like, I'm just remembering this. I watched recently, I don't know what streaming service it's on, maybe HBO, the like Beanie Baby doc. Have you seen that, Gia? Anywhere?
Wait, sorry, say that again?
Have you seen the Beanie Babies doc?
No, but I've heard that like if you buy a Beanie Baby, that they like go up in like you can sell them for like insane amount of money.
That's basically what this documentary was about. It was these women, mostly women. I think there was one man, but they they got really into the Beanie Baby craze. And when I was a kid, we used to just buy Beanie Babies because they were cute and they were fun collectibles. Like you could get them at like CVS, you could get them, at any toy store, really any like shopping location you could find Beanie Babies at. And collecting them as a kid was super fun. But at the time, all of these like moms were getting into it, like all these like house moms basically were like really invested in collecting them and reselling them. And this whole documentary is all about these women who like made a fortune on these Beanie Babies and are just like so obsessed with it. Either they got all the Beanie Babies, sold them, made a ton of money, or they still have them all like currently in their house waiting for a moment to like sell them in bulk, like just do one big, I've got every Beanie Baby, give me a couple $1 million and you can have them all. I think that once you get crazy about your hobby like that or your collection, whatever it is, like then you get into spending some like real fucking money. And some people do hobbies and buy shit off eBay, resell it. I know my dad his hobby is like fixing up cars. He will buy a car on eBay, fix it up and resell it. That's like what he does. There's at all times at my house, there's like 2 or 3 cars in the garage, in our like side little driveway thing. Like he just is always having these cars and spending all this money to fix them up, but then he resells them for like twice as much. It's insane. And it's just a hobby he's always had since before I was born. So I'm just like always around these cars. But when the money that he's always talking about, kind of throwing back and forth with these people, is nuts. But car guys are crazy too. Like they're kind of like boat people. They're just nuts with their cars. So hobbies are very, very expensive. The last thing I have on here is just treat yourself. One of the most expensive things you can do is just tell yourself, I deserve this. I'm going to treat myself today. I'm going to do whatever I want.
That is my most toxic trait.
I am the same way.
I can't help myself ever.
I just think I deserve the world is what it is. Like I deserve everything. Like
Literally.
I'm like, I'll have a slight inconvenience happen to me in the middle of the day and I'll get home and I'll be like, damn, I really shouldn't spend $50 on this really nice sushi meal from Momoya that I want, but I'm gonna because I deserve it. Treat yourself.
I worked hard today and I deserve to buy a new sweatshirt.
Exactly. I got up, I went to work, I came home, I deserve to online shop on Amazon and buy everything that's in my cart right now. Like that's just the shit that happens. And it really adds up. And I feel like that's something too that will sneak up on whoever it is. If you're not good at managing your money, like you gotta keep the treats to a minimum. You can't just treat yourself all the time because it's you go broke. That's how you go broke. But all right, Gia, let's get into some of the DMs. The voicemail thing, not enough time for some voicemails, so we went into the DMs, which I think for this one I probably would have done anyway, because I feel like people like to be anonymous when it comes to money. This person says, my brother put most of his money into Dogecoin. He's still hopeful, but it stresses me out. I cannot understand all the coins. I just can't do it. I know that Bitcoin is for real. I know that eventually they're going to start like accepting it at stores in the same way they do cash, the same way they do your debit card, the same way they do a credit card, whatever. Bitcoin is valuable.
I can't.
I just don't get it. I don't get it.
I don't want to live in a world where I don't understand like the currency that we're using. You know what I mean?
Same.
Like,
and
why can't we just use normal money?
Right. Just use regular money. Just use it.
It makes no sense, and I'll never understand Bitcoin or Dogecoin or Ethereum, whatever it is. It just goes right over my head.
Completely. Like if I ever am to have to deal with Bitcoin, like in my life, I'm going to have somebody take over my finances entirely. Like I'm going to have to be like, listen, I'm going to continue living my life as if I'm spending cash money. And you're just gonna have to like deal with it on the other side. Like I don't know what to do. I tried signing up for I have a Coinbase account somewhere. Like I made one for I don't even know what reason. There's nothing in it. Like it's not like there's anything happening in there. I remember especially I want to say like 2016 or 2017 is when Bitcoin was really popping off. People were trying to like snatch it up for themselves. And I had friends. I think there were people in this Barstool office had like $15,000 worth of Bitcoin like in their shit. And I don't know where they stand now. But that's insane. If I saw $15,000 of anything in any account, I'm cashing that shit out. Like I'm immediately taking it from that and spending it right away. I'm not great about planning for the future. And planning with Bitcoin has to be one of the hardest things because it's like you put all this money into it. You hope that it grows. It goes up and down all the time. But it's like you have to know in your head that that money is gone until you can eventually use it again. Something that you're able to like buy with Bitcoin. It's insane. I hope that what'd she say? Her brother is the one that donated to it or
yeah,
put money
I think it was
in
her brother.
I hope that your brother doesn't ever call you up looking for money because it's all wrapped up in Dogecoin. Jesus Christ. All right, let's see what's next. My best friend invited me to his wedding / asked everyone to pay him back for the rehearsal dinner meal. This may be the trashiest thing I've ever seen. I am at a loss of words almost. Weddings themselves, we had a whole episode about weddings. Weddings are so fucking expensive, obviously. If you're throwing a wedding and you have a rehearsal dinner, that's on you. You foot that bill. All these people traveled to you. They gave up their time to celebrate you, all this shit. The least you can do is give them a couple meals. Like, yeah, you have the wedding itself, but if you expect them to be there for the rehearsal dinner, you got to pay for the rehearsal dinner. You can't be Venmoing people for your rehearsal dinner later on. That's just trash, 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 trash. I can't believe somebody did this in real life. Oh my God, if you listen to anything I ever say on this show, please listen to this. Don't be cheap when it comes to your wedding guests. Don't do that. Don't do that. Let's see what's next. Called off an engagement and went $4,000 into debt to break my lease to leave him still paying. Girl, I'm fucking sorry. That sucks so bad. I don't really know what else to say about that. Like, that's just, that's the cost of doing business, I guess. And you know what? I feel like money is a reason that a lot of people stay in relationships. I'm saying I feel like that isn't a fact. I feel like that's a complete fact. A lot of people stay in relationships that they don't want to be in because of financial security, and to break off of a relationship and put yourself into debt like that is so hard. But if you got to break up, you got to break up. Like, it's crazy that this guy still owes you $4,000. I'll be surprised if you ever see it. I mean, at what point, Gia, what do you think would be the amount of money that someone would owe you that you would like take them to court? Like, I feel like $4,000 isn't quite enough to like take somebody to court. I don't know. What do you think?
That is a good question.
You know, like I have no idea. Like $10,000, I guess, because then you have to think about the court fees and like all that shit. So it's like, how do you even?
I know.
How do you even do that?
Well, I just feel like if I'm giving that much money right now, my financial status, there is just no way I could ever do that.
Never. Yeah, me neither. Me neither.
But yeah, I don't know. I think maybe like 5 to 10. $5,000 is a lot of money.
It's a lot of money. That's what I'm saying. And so is $4,000.
Yeah.
Any amount of money. $1,000 is a lot of money.
Yeah.
I'm looking for, if you owe me $1,000, give me $1,000. But I feel like going through all the hoops to try to get that kind of money back will end up costing you more. So it just puts people in such a tough spot. Don't leave people hanging for money. Don't do that. Just if you can't pay it, be like, listen, I can't pay you this money. I'll try to give you as much as I can moving forward. But like, Jesus Christ, there's not a lot I can do. It's insane. It's really tough. It's a tough situation for this girl. I feel bad for her. What do we have next? Swindled a sugar daddy into paying for mine and my roommate's security deposit without meeting. That, my friends, is a resourceful bitch. And I am proud of this person because I think of all those people who are willing to give money up like that, like sugar daddies or the like femdom stuff where people are like, control my finances, spend my money, it like gets me off. There's a lot of that going on in this world right now. And I feel like if you are that kind of person who's doing that shit, if you're going to lose some money, there's going to be some girls out here swindling, trying to pay their fucking rent, trying to pay the security deposit. Honestly, if I get to move into another apartment, I will probably get my security deposit back. I'm going to need that money. I would love some extra dollars from a sugar daddy that I don't ever have to meet or talk to. Maybe I should DM this person back and be like, hey, give me some tips because I got to swindle a couple $1,000s out of a sugar daddy. Who knows? But I don't know. You got to do what you got to do sometimes to make money. And that's why a couple of episodes ago, we were talking about the people who live, the neighbors episode. We were talking about the people who lived next door to this couple in Indiana who seemed like maybe they were amateur porn, OnlyFans stuff, whatever. That kind of shit, I'm like never knocking those people for their hustle because sometimes you just have to do what you got to do. You know what I mean? And you make do with what you can. It's an easy fix, easy money. And sometimes you just have to take people from perverts or take money from perverts. That's just something that has to be done occasionally. So let's hit a break real quick and then we'll keep going with these DMs. And welcome back to On the Other Line. We are in the home stretch, almost done with this episode. Gia, let's keep going with those DMs. I got mad student debt. Feel you. That's it. That's all. That's the statement. That's it. I feel really badly for those who are struggling bad with student debt. I think student debt is something that is always a conversation. It's always something that's keeping people down. I think that college itself, I don't know. I feel like people still go to college, right, Gia? People are still, I know there's a lot, I want to say that people are like skipping college and going right to their career and whatever. I think that's just like the world I live in right now is a lot of people skip, but people still are going to college.
Yeah, people are still going to college. Like, I feel like there's this idea in like richer people's heads that it's like, oh, you don't need to go to college. Like, if you're smart enough, you can just like get in there. Like, I just saw this clip of Elon Musk recently that was like a college degree isn't necessary, a high school degree isn't necessary. It is. Like, it is. If you're trying to get into any entry level job or above, you will need a college degree, let alone a high school degree.
Completely. I think you're absolutely correct about high school. I think that college is, if you are entering the real world, like outside of media, I feel like you absolutely need a college degree, especially if you are, you know, you're working in medicine, you're working in finance, you're working in law, like those things. It's like, of course you need years and years of schooling, but then it puts you in years and years of debt. Like it just racks it all up. And I commend those people who will go out and try to work towards those professions and put all that money and put all that time into these things, because who the fuck wants to do that when you have a cell phone and you could just like maybe become a TikTok star, or you can maybe work in a media company where you can drop out of school your first year and just work here. I feel like half the people that are here right now had the opportunity to drop out of school and be able to work full time at Barstool. And I feel like there's a lot of places that are trying to encourage that, which I don't think is bad. But you have to keep in mind that like the real world, they're looking for those degrees. They're looking for that knowledge. They're looking for that life experience. And I think that if I were to say anything about college, some of the classes I took, like the marketing classes, were helpful to help me think of things in a different way. Not necessarily am I like breaking out my notes and like comparing and looking and applying them in real life, but it's just the things that we did in class and the things we talked about kind of made me see things differently or think about things in a way that I wouldn't normally have thought about it, because I didn't have that exact life experience. I didn't have that specific thing happen to me that I could learn from. So that's the whole point of it. And that's like what you take out of it. But as far as college as a whole, I mean, I spent the whole time, you know, I went to class, whatever, but I spent a lot of my time partying and hanging out with my friends. And it was the best experience of my life. But I also learned a ton in doing that. I learned a ton about being in social situations. I learned about managing other people, dealing with different types of people from all over the place. Like it's a worthwhile experience, I think, and makes you more well-rounded. So I think if you look at college in that way, you're less inclined to be like, oh, fuck college, like I don't need to go, I don't want that student debt. It's like, the debt may keep you down for a while, but at least you won't be a moron. At least you show up and you have lived life a little bit and you know what the fuck is up and you've got your head on a swivel. I think that's pretty priceless. So what's next, Gia? My racist grandfather left me a lot of money recently, but was a miser and was a control freak. This is tough. I think I'm still taking the money, regardless if my grandfather is a piece of shit or not. I think I'm still taking that money and doing something better with it. I don't know, like either maybe if it's a lot of money, you donate some of it to charity. Maybe if it's not that much money, you just better your life and make sure that you don't end up like your racist grandfather. Like just don't be a shit person and you don't have to feel guilty about that money. I feel like there's a lot of stuff floating around the news lately about ancestors of people who have done bad things. Like I was reading about this today, which is this is a little bit of a heavy situation, but it was like ancestors of Nazis, ancestors of those like in Germany, whatever, are still reaping the benefits with their money and whatever. That's fucked up, obviously. Like that's fucking crazy if that's like the money that they're spending or whatever. But I just feel like there's a lot of money out there and there's a lot of that's exchanged bad hands. You know what I mean? Like how is it that the money is tied into it? I don't know. I guess it's the way it was taken, the way that it was procured. I don't really know what you do with that years and years later. Like, do you give it all away? Like, I guess it's a moral question. Gia, what would you do if you had like a shitty grandfather, a shitty somebody in your family who left you a ton of money? What do you do with that money?
Oh God.
I don't even know, right?
I feel like if I was in her I guess I would do exactly what you said. I feel like if it was I would maybe donate some of it.
Right.
To
I feel like that's maybe that
sort
helps.
Of cause or movements so that you know, I don't feel like I'm participating in what he used to do. You know what I mean?
Exactly. Yeah. Yeah.
But I feel like if you're not taking the money, then I mean, where's it gonna go? If he's like a bad dude, who knows? Like if it doesn't go to you, then like maybe he has like some backup.
Right, like what could
place.
is the alternative
Yeah.
worse? Like,
Yeah.
Right, is it, if it goes somewhere, is it worse? I don't know. That's a really tough thing to think about because it's like, I don't know, money's money, man. Sometimes you need it. Like sometimes you need that shit.
Just use it to like try to better the situation in any way that you can.
Yeah, I feel like that's the way to think about it. What do we got next? Watching professional gamblers lose 10K on blackjack in less than 5 minutes. I will never understand this. I am somebody who is afraid of gambling. Like, it is so hard for me to gamble because I never have any money, obviously, and it is so painful to lose money on something as simple as like a game of blackjack. Like that's chance. That's a game of chance. I guess you can, if you're counting cards, right? You can count cards in blackjack, but it's illegal, obviously. But like that's something that you could do. Maybe you can try to work the system a little bit. But you know what they say about gambling, that the house always wins. Especially when it comes to card games and stuff like that. If you're going to Vegas and you're playing this kind of shit, they have that like World Series of Poker, and I assume they have other like blackjack type tournaments where people just have this money, and it's similar to that hobbies thing. Like your hobby is blackjack, and you spend $10,000 on a hand, and you lose it. It's like you're out $10,000, and you have to have so much faith in yourself to like get back to $10,000 that you lost. Like some people go like $10,000, or I'm sorry, like $100,000 in the hole. It's like, how do you get out of a hole that deep?
Have you ever seen the movie Molly's Game?
Yes, I love Molly's Game.
That's
oh my God.
I always think about that. Like
Jessica Chastain.
all those men that just basically bet their lives away.
Totally.
It just makes no sense. And I always say, like, I could never date or like marry someone that has like a gambling problem.
No way.
Because
no way.
And I was in Vegas last week, and I would like do I only like roulette because that's the only one that I know how to play.
Same. It's like black or red.
Yeah, and you just put in like $20, whatever.
Yeah.
But these guys were putting in like thousands of dollars, and then it would on red or something, and then it would be black, and they just lose all the money. They're just sitting there putting more and more and more. And I had to leave at 4 a.m. to get a flight, and there were still people in the casino betting at like 4 or 5 a.m. And it's just like, these people are probably so down bad.
Completely.
It's so sad, honestly.
It is sad because I mean, gambling is an addiction just like any other.
Yeah.
Like people think like it's like the next one will hit, I've got money coming. That movie Uncut Gems. Uncut Gems, I think, is the best representation I've ever seen of like gambling and finally making it not look glamorous. I feel like gambling always looks fun, like, ooh, we're winning, we're doing whatever. Uncut Gems, when I saw that movie, I was like, I'll never put money on anything again. Like imagine living your whole life with that kind of anxiety, being so far in a hole that you can't get out. Like I already am like in debt myself. Like I can't imagine putting myself further in debt for fun. Like that's just, what is fun about that? I don't understand. What do we have next? Lost a ton of money once to a femdom. Yes, that's kind of what I was talking about before. And I think maybe this DM is why it was on my brain.
What's a femdom?
So femdom, it's like femdom is different than findom. Femdom is a woman, and maybe this person meant findom. It's financial dominance. It's where you give someone else the ability to access your bank account and like keep it from you. So like say someone gives me their bank account, gives me all their information. They have $100,000 in there, and they'll be like, please, Kelly, can I have $100 to do whatever? And I'll be like, no, absolutely not. I'm going to take that $100 and I'm going to spend it on my own shit. And then they'll be like, oh shit, I really needed that $100, but now I'm coming myself because you are withholding money from me. Like that's the thing.
Wow.
That's the thing people do. Yeah. It's kind of wild. Like that's a situation
How do I
I
get
would
that
love
job?
to get involved in. Yeah. Like, hello, I would love to financially dominate anybody because all I can do is just be like, no, that money's not for you. It's for me. And then you spend it on yourself. And that's the shit. People just get off on shit like that. But that's another like rich man sport, I think. Like you got to be rich to be cool with that. But what's her face on Kat on Euphoria was doing that at one point when she was like talking to those guys through the phone, and she had like the mask on or whatever. I think technically she was findom, like she was always monitoring these people's money and like doing whatever with it. And it's an interesting life to lead. I don't know. It sounds like it'd be easy to do. I could never be on the other end of that. I would never want anybody to have control over my money and like tell me what I can and cannot buy and stealing my money basically. It's fucking nuts to me. Nuts. What do we got next? My parents had to sell my grandma's house and we had to pay $10,000 in unpaid taxes. That fucking sucks. I feel like this is something that comes up a lot in families, especially when, you know, somebody passes away, unfortunately, and they have this house and maybe they own the house, but there's always like an underlying factor you weren't quite aware of. Everybody has secrets, even your grandparents. Everybody has secrets. Everybody's hiding stuff. And a lot of the time it has to do with money. And people, like I said, are really tight about their money. They don't want to talk about it. And these situations happen all the time. And I feel bad for these people's parents. I hope that that never happens to anybody that I know. And wow, thank you guys for coming in on this money train, money ride. I appreciate it. And we'll see you all next week on The Other Line.